Top 5 morning drinks that help seniors over 60 lose belly fat. Naturally, most people over 60 have noticed something frustrating. The belly fat that was not there at 50 is now there at 60, and no matter how carefully you eat or how much you walk, it simply refuses to move. Here is something your doctor probably never explained to you. Belly fat after 60 is not the same problem as belly fat at 30. It is not a willpower problem. It is not a laziness problem. It is a hormonal and metabolic problem that is fundamentally different after 60, and it requires a fundamentally different approach. After 60, your body produces less human growth hormone. Your estrogen or testosterone levels have dropped significantly. Your cortisol, the stress hormone, runs higher, and your metabolism has slowed in ways that make conventional diet advice almost completely ineffective for seniors. But here is what most people over 60 never learn. The first drink you choose every morning either activates your fat-burning metabolism for the day or shuts it down completely before you even eat breakfast. And most seniors unknowingly choose drinks every morning that spike insulin, raise cortisol, and signal their body to store fat rather than burn it. Today on 60 Strong, I'm going to show you the top 5 morning drinks that may help seniors over 60 lose belly fat naturally. Drinks that work with your changed metabolism after 60, not against it. Simple, affordable drinks you can start tomorrow. Morning, stay with me until the end because drink number 4 is the one that targets the specific hormone responsible for belly fat storage in seniors over 60. And most people have never once heard it discussed in the context of weight management. Let us get started. Drink number 1, warm lemon water with apple cider vinegar. This combination drink opens your fat-burning window first thing in the morning, and the mechanism behind why it works, specifically for belly fat in seniors, is something most weight loss advice completely misses. The problem it solves every morning. When you wake up, your body is in a mild fasting state. Your insulin levels are at their lowest point of the entire day. And low insulin is the hormonal state where fat burning is most possible. Your body is actually primed to burn fat for the first 1 to 2 hours after waking, before you eat anything that raises insulin. But most seniors immediately spike their insulin before they even eat breakfast. How? By drinking sweetened coffee or tea, fruit juice, or flavored drinks that flood the bloodstream with sugar and trigger an insulin response that immediately shuts down fat burning and switches the body into fat storage mode. The goal of your very first morning drink is to keep insulin low while activating your metabolism. Warm lemon water with apple cider vinegar does exactly this. How this combination helps: the acetic acid in apple cider vinegar has been shown in research to suppress the expression of specific genes responsible for fat storage, particularly in the abdominal region. A study published in Bioscience, Biotechnology, and Biochemistry followed 144 obese Japanese adults who consumed apple cider vinegar daily for 12 weeks. The group consuming 1 tablespoon daily lost an average of 1.2 kilograms of body weight and showed measurable reductions in visceral fat, the dangerous abdominal fat that surrounds internal organs. Acetic acid also improves insulin sensitivity, meaning your cells respond to insulin more efficiently and your body needs to produce less of it. Less insulin means less fat storage signaling throughout the day. Fresh lemon juice adds hesperidin, a flavonoid shown to reduce adipogenesis, the process by which the body creates new fat cells. Hesperidin also supports liver function, and a well-functioning liver is critical for fat burning after 60 because the liver is where fat is processed and converted to energy. How to prepare it correctly. Mix 1 tablespoon of raw unfiltered apple cider vinegar with the mother and the juice of half a fresh lemon into 8 ounces of warm water. Not cold water. Warm water is absorbed faster on an empty stomach. Drink it through a straw to protect your tooth enamel from the acidity on an empty stomach before anything else. This is your very first drink of the day. One important warning: never exceed 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar daily. More is not better. Excess amounts can damage tooth enamel, irritate the esophagus, and lower potassium levels. 1 tablespoon in warm water every morning is the correct therapeutic dose. No more. Drink number 2, green tea. Green tea is the most researched natural fat-burning drink in the world, and for seniors over 60 specifically, where the metabolism has changed in very specific ways, green tea works through mechanisms that are uniquely well-suited to the hormonal environment of aging. The problem it solves, one of the primary drivers of belly fat accumulation in seniors over 60, is a slowdown in thermogenesis, the process by which your body generates heat by burning calories. After 60, your brown adipose tissue, the metabolically active fat tissue that burns calories to generate heat, becomes less active. Your basal metabolic rate drops, and your body burns fewer calories at rest than it did at 40 or 50. This thermogenic decline means that the same food intake that maintained your weight at 50 now causes gradual weight gain at 60, particularly around the abdomen, where age-related hormonal changes direct fat storage preferentially. How green tea helps. Green tea contains 2 compounds that work together to address this thermogenic decline in seniors. EGCG, the powerful catechin we discussed in our kidney health series, and natural caffeine. Together, these compounds activate a thermogenic process in fat cells by stimulating the release of norepinephrine, the hormone that signals fat cells to break down stored fat for energy. Meta-analysis published in the International Journal of Obesity reviewed 11 clinical trials on green tea, catechins and body composition. The analysis found that green tea catechins combined with caffeine significantly increased fat oxidation, the rate at which the body burns fat, compared to caffeine alone or placebo. The effect was most pronounced in abdominal fat specifically. EGCG also inhibits an enzyme called catechol-O-methyltransferase that normally breaks down norepinephrine. By slowing this breakdown, EGCG keeps norepinephrine active longer, extending the fat-burning signal in fat cells throughout the morning hours. Green tea also supports insulin sensitivity, keeping insulin levels lower through the morning and extending the fat-burning window that begins during overnight fasting. How to prepare it correctly. Never use boiling water. Heat your water to 175 degrees Fahrenheit. Let boiled water sit for 4 to 5 minutes before pouring. Steep for exactly 2 to 3 minutes. Boiling water destroys the EGCG that makes green tea effective for fat burning. Do not add sugar or honey. Both spike insulin immediately and shut down the fat-burning effect completely. Add fresh lemon juice instead. The vitamin C increases EGCG absorption by up to 6 times, as we covered in our Morning Drinks Kidney series. 1 to 2 cups every morning. Drink it as your second morning drink after the lemon and apple cider vinegar water. The combination of both drinks keeps insulin low and activates fat burning during your most metabolically active morning window. Drink number 3, ginger lemon water. Before drink number 4, the one that targets the specific hormone responsible for senior belly fat, subscribe to 60 Strong right now. We release new senior health content every week. Drop a comment below. How long have you been struggling with belly fat after 60? I read every single comment. Ginger is one of the most studied natural metabolic activators available, and its specific effects on belly fat in older adults through anti-inflammatory and thermogenic mechanisms make it one of the most valuable morning drinks for seniors who want to address abdominal weight gain at its hormonal root. The problem it solves. Chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the most significant but least discussed drivers of belly fat accumulation after 60. This is not the inflammation you feel from an injury. It is silent, invisible. It produces no obvious symptoms, but it triggers a continuous cortisol response that directs your body to store fat specifically in the abdominal region. Inflammatory cytokines are chemical messengers produced during chronic inflammation that directly stimulate adipocytes in the abdominal region to store more fat. They also interfere with leptin signaling, the hormone that tells your brain you are full and causing seniors to feel hungry more often and feel satisfied less quickly after eating. How ginger lemon water helps. Gingerols and sugars in fresh ginger are among the most potent natural anti-inflammatory compounds available. They reduce the production of the exact inflammatory cytokines that drive abdominal fat storage, and hunger dysregulation in seniors over 60. But ginger does something beyond anti-inflammation for belly fat. Research has shown it has direct thermogenic properties. It raises core body temperature slightly after consumption, which increases calorie burning through heat generation. A study published in the European Journal of Nutrition found that consuming ginger at breakfast significantly reduced feelings of hunger and increased thermogenesis in overweight men, with the researchers identifying the gingerol-driven thermogenic effect as the primary mechanism. Ginger also accelerates gastric emptying, reducing the bloating and digestive slowdown that contributes to the extended belly appearance many seniors experience. And fresh lemon juice adds vitamin C, which is required for the synthesis of carnitine, the compound your cells use to transport fat into mitochondria, where it is burned for energy. Low vitamin C means inefficient fat transport and less effective fat burning. How to prepare it correctly? Grate or slice 1 teaspoon of fresh ginger root into 8 ounces of warm water. Squeeze in the juice of half a fresh lemon. Let it steep for 5 minutes, then drink warm. Always fresh ginger root, not powder, for maximum gingerol content. Drink this as your third morning drink after the apple cider vinegar water and green tea. The anti-inflammatory effect of ginger compounds, with the thermogenic and insulin-sensitizing effects of the first 2 drinks, creating a comprehensive morning fat-burning preparation before breakfast. Drink number 4, cinnamon water. This is the drink I mentioned at the beginning, the one most seniors have never heard discussed in the context of belly fat, specifically. And the hormone it targets, directly and measurably, is the primary hormonal driver of abdominal fat storage in seniors over 60. The problem it solves: after 60, insulin resistance increases significantly. Your cells become less responsive to insulin, meaning your pancreas must produce more and more insulin to achieve the same blood sugar management effect. And here is the connection that most people never learn. Chronically elevated insulin is the most powerful fat storage signal in the human body. Specifically, it directs fat to be stored in the visceral abdominal region, the deep belly fat that surrounds the organs and creates the rounded abdominal profile that most seniors over 60 find increasingly difficult to address. This is why most seniors struggle to lose belly fat, despite eating reasonably well. It is not about calories. It is about insulin. As long as insulin remains chronically elevated, the body receives a continuous signal to store fat in the abdomen, regardless of exercise or dietary restriction. Cinnamon water helps. Cinnamon contains a unique group of compounds, particularly cinnamaldehyde and MHCP, methyl hydroxychalcone polymer, that have been shown in research to act as insulin mimetics. They activate the same cellular receptors that insulin activates, improving the efficiency with which cells absorb glucose from the bloodstream without requiring the pancreas to produce additional insulin. The result is better blood sugar control with lower insulin levels. Lower insulin levels reduce the abdominal fat storage signal. Over weeks of consistent daily cinnamon consumption, this reduction in chronic insulin levels creates a measurable shift away from fat storage mode, particularly in the abdominal region. A study published in Diabetes Care found that consuming cinnamon daily significantly reduced fasting blood glucose, triglycerides, and insulin resistance in adults with type 2 diabetes. A second study, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, found that cinnamon reduced the glycemic response to a carbohydrate meal by up to 29%, dramatically reducing the insulin spike that follows breakfast. For seniors over 60, this post-breakfast insulin reduction is particularly significant. Most seniors eat a carbohydrate-rich breakfast that spikes insulin at exactly the moment when the fat-burning window from overnight fasting should be gradually transitioning to fat utilization. Cinnamon before or during breakfast reduces this insulin spike, extending the fat-burning window by keeping insulin from rising as sharply. How to prepare it correctly? Add half a teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon, not cassia cinnamon, to 8 ounces of warm water. Stir well and drink warm. This distinction matters. Ceylon cinnamon is true cinnamon with therapeutic levels of active compounds and very low coumarin content. Cassia cinnamon, the most commonly sold variety in supermarkets, has much lower active compound levels and higher coumarin content, which can stress the liver at regular therapeutic doses. Look for Ceylon cinnamon. Specifically, it is labeled as Ceylon or true cinnamon and is available at most health food stores. Drink cinnamon water as your fourth morning drink, immediately before breakfast, so the insulin-sensitizing compounds are active in your system when the first food of the day raises blood sugar. Drink number 5, plain water, the fat-burning foundation. I saved this for last, not because it is least important, because it is the most important of all, and most seniors are making one specific mistake with their morning water intake that is directly preventing fat burning before the day even starts. The problem it solves: mild dehydration, a state most seniors are in every morning after 7 to 8 hours. Without fluids, reduces metabolic rate by up to 3%. That sounds small, but for seniors over 60, whose metabolic rate has already declined 3%, is a meaningful additional reduction that makes fat burning even harder. Dehydration also impairs lipolysis, the process by which stored fat is broken down and released from fat cells into the bloodstream for use as energy. Without adequate water, fat cells literally cannot release their stored fat efficiently. The fat is there, the body wants to burn it, but without enough water, the biochemical process cannot proceed effectively. How? Plain water supports fat burning. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that drinking 500 milliliters of water increased metabolic rate by 30% within 10 minutes, with the effect lasting for 30 to 40 minutes. In overweight adults over 55, the effect was even more pronounced than in younger adults. This morning, metabolic boost from water works through 2 mechanisms. Cold or room temperature water requires energy to warm to body temperature, generating a small but real thermogenic effect. And water activates sympathetic nervous system activity, releasing small amounts of norepinephrine that stimulate fat burning. Research published in Obesity found that adults who drank 500 milliliters of water before each meal lost significantly more weight over 12 weeks than those who did not, with the researchers attributing the effect to both increased metabolism and reduced calorie intake from the satiety effect of pre-meal water. How to drink water correctly for fat burning after 60. Drink 12 ounces of plain room temperature water as your absolute first action every single morning. Before the apple cider vinegar, before the green tea, before anything else. This first glass rehydrates your blood and immediately begins restoring your metabolic rate from its overnight dehydration-reduced level. Continue drinking water steadily throughout the morning. Sip before every meal. The pre-meal satiety effect reduces meal size naturally without any conscious restriction, one of the most sustainable ways to reduce calorie intake for seniors who cannot or do not want to follow strict diets. So there you have it, 5 morning drinks that may help seniors over 60 lose belly fat, naturally, working with the hormonal reality of aging rather than against it. Warm lemon. Water with apple cider vinegar, suppressing fat storage gene expression with acetic acid, improving insulin sensitivity, and supporting the liver function that is essential for fat processing on an empty stomach before the day begins. Green tea, activating thermogenesis through the EGCG and caffeine combination that raises norepinephrine and keeps it active longer, extending the fat-burning signal in fat cells through the critical morning metabolic window. Ginger. Lemon water, reducing the chronic inflammation that drives cortisol-mediated abdominal fat storage while activating thermogenesis directly and supporting the vitamin C-dependent carnitine synthesis that fat cells need to actually burn stored fat for energy. Cinnamon. Water, targeting insulin resistance directly, the primary hormonal driver of abdominal fat storage in seniors over 60, reducing the chronic insulin elevation that keeps fat locked in the abdominal region, regardless of diet or exercise. And plain water, the metabolic foundation, restoring the overnight Dehydration reduced metabolic rate immediately on waking and supporting the lipolysis process that releases stored fat from cells so it can be burned for energy. Here is the most important thing to understand about belly fat after 60. It did not appear overnight, and it will not disappear overnight. But consistent daily habits, the right drinks every morning, can shift your hormonal environment in a direction that makes fat burning more possible and fat storage less automatic. These drinks do not replace healthy eating or regular movement. They work best alongside both, but they address the specific hormonal barriers, insulin resistance, inflammation, thermogenic decline, dehydration, that make conventional weight loss advice so ineffective for seniors over 60. Start with one drink tomorrow morning. The lemon apple cider vinegar water is the easiest and the most impactful first step. Add one new drink each week until all 5 are part of your daily routine. Your metabolism after 60 is different, but it is not broken. Give it the right morning support and it will respond. If this video helped you understand why belly fat after 60 is different and what you can actually do about it, please share it with someone you care about. And subscribe to 60 Strong if you have not already, because next week we are covering the 5 foods that are silently increasing belly fat in seniors every single day. Take care of yourself. I will see you in the next video.